Minutes, a creative podcast. My name is Devin, and this is Lucy, and this is where I document my knitting, designing, spinning, general making, all that good craftiness. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram at bdevin. I desperately need to brush this cat. She is shitty. I want to say thank you to all of my returning viewers and welcome to everybody new. I've gotten a couple of really sweet shout outs over the last week. First from Mina of the Knitting Expat, and then from Nicole of Hilo Go. So if you are here because you decided to follow one of their recommendations, thank you. I really appreciate it. Sorry, she is deciding to be very cuddly and aggressively so today. Usually, as you guys know, she likes to nap during these videos. I apparently did not time my recording very well today, so hopefully she behaves, but she might not. Yeah, let's go ahead and just get started. So, it's done. I have been knitting monogamously on this all week. I'm not a monogamous knitter. Very much not a monogamous knitter, but this week I was good. I focused and I finished. I'm so happy. This is my Amboise Shawl. It is a design of my own. This is my second version of it. And yeah, I finished it literally last night. I'm just gonna hold that there. You can see the contrast color edging. I'm really, really pleased with how that turned out. The one change I would make, and I'm saying this now so that I remember to tell my test knitters, I'm going to be asking for test knitters in a second, is, okay, do you guys see the diagonal eyelets, sort of right between the main lace body and then the contrast color? I wish I had gone back and knit that in the contrast color instead of in the main color. Does that make sense? I hope so. But yeah. It is so great. I'm so happy with this. It just blossomed when I soaked it last night, when I washed it to block it. And it just opened up beautifully. Yeah, could not be happier with the way that this turned out. And yeah, like, I'm just blown away. I'm gonna get so much wear out of this shawl over the next couple weeks as it's finally starting to warm up. I think it is the perfect weight for a spring shawl. Still haven't figured out quite how I want to wear it, but I'm, yeah, really, really pleased. So, a couple details about this. Excuse that crinkling noise. I've got some stuff to show you guys later. I knit it out of, let's see here, Wool and Vine yarns. This is her narwhal base in the color Jilted Rose. So you can see it is a blue-based Leicester silk and cashmere blend. It is phenomenal. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I love this. So that's the main color of the shawl. And then this blue color, which ended up being a lot more tonal than I expected, but I'm really pleased with. And it is now completely covered in cat hair, thanks to little Lucy right here. This is out of String Theory hand-dyed yarn. And I got at String Theory, what is it called? It's a yarn store in Glen Ellen, Illinois. String Theory Yarn Company. Sorry, it's written on the Lolo bar that I got there. Give them a call. They're fabulous. Which is a heavier fingering weight. It's a heavier weight than the narwhal, but it is an MCN blend, so merino, cashmere, nylon. So happy though. Yeah, I ended up doing this really, yeah. I can't even tell you. I can't even talk about the shawl. I'm just that excited about it. Did a picot bind off. The edging here, right? This lace motif is supposed to. It's actually kind of upside down for what it's supposed to do. Right, but it's supposed to be reminiscent of the windows and things like that on the chateau, right? It's The Chateau d'Amboise in France is what inspired this shawl. I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick here because I need to adjust a setting on my computer, which I forgot to do before I started recording, because otherwise it's going to keep giving me the same problems I was having last week. So I will be right back. Sorry about that. I forgot to adjust the setting of how quickly my screensaver comes on, and apparently recording a video using the webcam is not enough activity for the computer to realize that I don't actually want the screensaver to turn on. But anyway, so yeah, this is done. So happy with it. I finally finished it last night at like maybe 11. Got it on the completely on the blocking wires and pinned up and everything by like 1. And yeah, woke up this morning. I didn't get to sleep until probably about 2 a.m. and then woke up at 7 because I was so excited to see the final project, right? So excited about this shawl that it interrupted my sleep. Possibly minorly obsessed, but that's okay. Yeah, just so incredibly proud of how this turned out. I'm just gonna keep admiring it. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, so I am looking for test knitters. I'm gonna get this written up tonight. I've already got my notes and all that. I've just got to compile it. And yeah. I know a couple people have already reached out about being interested in test knitting this pattern for me. If you are still interested, please go ahead and, where do I want comments? Let's say in the Ravelry group. Comment on the episode thread for this episode in the Ravelry group if you're interested in test knitting, whether you've reached out to me already or not. I'm probably going to grab like 5 to 7 test knitters is what my goal is. So yeah, reach out to me there and we'll be in touch. Yeah, all skill levels too. It's perhaps slightly more challenging in terms of lace. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for a never ever lace knitter. As you can see, there's a lot of lace going on and like different motifs, but I don't know, I think it's fairly self-explanatory if you can read a chart. Yeah, if you can read a chart, you can definitely knit this. Do I have anything else to say about this? Sorry, I've got my notes typed up just kind of on the screen there. I think that's basically it. But yeah. It used almost an entire skein of the narwhal. I think I've got maybe 7 grams left of this. And then for this one, for the contrast color, I have a ton left. I think this is 79 grams left. And if you don't see, this is a ball. I do not normally knit with balls of yarn unless I purchased it as a ball. I like to cake up my yarn. We've talked about the issues I've had with my ball winders. Ball winder, anyway. This was not the fault of my ball winder. This was, unfortunately, the fault of the skein, right? The actual hank of yarn. I got it up. I was very careful about how I put the hank on the Swift and all that. I went through, it's one of the few things in my life that I'm very careful about. But I got maybe a quarter of the way into caking up the yarn and it just seized up, right? The skein was just so tangled that I couldn't cake up the yarn. So I had to pull what I had caked up off the ball winder and finish up the rest by hand, which was not fun because I completely lost all the momentum I had built up and was just frustrated. Those of you guys who follow me on Instagram will know that I posted about that. Less than thrilled, but got it done anyway. And I don't know, for not normally winding up balls of yarn, I'm not too mad about the way this one turned out. It was kind of fun, all in all. And I've got this to play with. I also have to keep it away from the cats because they desperately want to get their hands on it. All right. Other things to say? I think that's it. Yes. Ooh. I am drinking tea today. I've already had 2 cups of coffee because, like I said, did not get as much sleep as I normally do. So, because I've already gotten a lot of caffeine, I moved on to herbal tea. This is Yogi Tea Calming, which eases mild tension. Always useful. It's a really nice blend of, let's see here, chamomile, licorice, hibiscus, fennel, lemongrass, cardamom, orange peel, rosehip, and lavender. So definitely recommend that. Definitely calming. Yeah. Because I was so monogamous with this shawl trying to get it done, and that is definitely in part thanks to my accountability buddies, both in person and online. Cheryl, I'm looking at you. Thank you for reaching out on Ravelry and reminding me that I'm not allowed to cast anything on. I have more than enough on the needles. Definitely a huge help, and I'm looking forward to seeing how your socks turn out. If you have questions about accountability buddies, you either go back to episode 4 or take a look. I think there's a description in the episode 4 Ravelry thread, but it's basically somebody who's going to keep you honest and on top of what you're doing. All that to say, I haven't really gotten to knit on much of anything else other than this shawl this week. Speaking of accountability buddies, I almost cast on something new this morning, and then I remembered in the back of my mind that I do have all of these things still on my needles that I need to really finish before I start anything new. So I pulled out an old whip that has been just kind of languishing in my project bag bin that sits next to my couch over here, that I think I showed you guys a couple episodes back. I haven't showed you this whip since my first episode, way back sometime in January. These are my first attempt at 2 at a time socks. And I am doing these top down. We already talked about why I like top down. I'm just going to show you one. Top down, and instead of doing my normal slip stitch heel, I'm doing a fish lips kiss heel on these. I chose to do fish lips kiss on these because, one, they're a gift for somebody who doesn't knit, and I feel like that kind of heel is perhaps more what non-knitters expect out of a sock, but also because it is a very much a self-striping yarn. The way that turns out in the fish lips kiss heel is, I think, way nicer than with the slip stitch reinforced heel flap gusset sort of construction that I normally like. But yeah, I go back and forth on the fish lips kiss heel. I like it. It's a fun heel to knit. It's actually much quicker and much more enjoyable to knit than the heel flap and gusset. But I don't know. I'm not necessarily as big of a fan of how they fit, but I think that's more my not being good about my not compensating the length of the foot for the style of heel. So I feel like every time I've made one of these, or I've made a sock using this heel, the sock has ended up too long. Or, I don't know. I don't know if it's that it's ended up too long or if it just stretches more. That may be, actually. It stretches more than the slip stitch heel style normally does. So, given that these are a present for somebody, yeah, I may end up making these the foot of these slightly shorter than I would normally. Yeah. Really love this yarn. I feel like Felici, I should probably say what it is. It is Knit Picks Felici. You can see here's one of the balls. This is all tangled up like crazy. Knit Picks Felici, and the colorway is Candy Jar, which kind of makes some sense. Yeah. And yeah, Knit Picks Fleechy is a superwash merino and nylon blend. It's really soft. I'm a big fan of Felici. It's not been the most popular recently, or at least there's been a lot of complaints recently about it. People aren't pleased with the way the stripes are working out, where there may be two colors that are really similar that end up next to each other. I think with this one, it's clearly not an issue here because they're all very different colors. But anyway, I like how this is knitting up. I think it's just, I happen to pick a colorway that isn't having the same issues that some people were having. I'm not a huge fan of knitting socks 2 at a time. As you can see, it's kind of gotten a little bit tangled up. I'm gonna have to spend some time sorting this out later. Perhaps this is what I will do during Wednesday night knit night tonight. Yeah. I'm not casting on anything right now, though I desperately want to. I'm gonna be good. My 2 at a time socks here are living in a project bag I made myself. I do like my project bags. Right. I made this out of a canvas material before I realized that most people were using quilter's cotton. I have no idea if that's correct. Quilting fabric. I went with canvas because I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, it's got some imperfections. It's one of the first ones that I had made, but I like it. It's got a fun little zipper pull progress keeper thing. Happy with it. That's what I'm working on currently. Yes. Other than that, like I said, I haven't gotten a ton of other knitting done, but I have been crafting and doing other things. Partly because I'm participating in the yarn swap that Mina of the Knitting Expat organized. I've gotten paired up with Madeline. I think that's how you pronounce it. Madeleine would be how I pronounce it in French, but she's from Sweden, so I'm not sure how she pronounces that. But anyway, she's phenomenal. She is snake knit on Ravelry. And yeah, the idea with this swap is that you pick out yarn that's local to you and you send it to somebody either in a different part of the country or somebody who is in a different country. So yeah, I picked out some really pretty local yarn. Yarn that, wow, I'm struggling. Yarn that was dyed and spun here in Bloomington, which is kind of cool. That I got at a local yarn store. And yeah, I put that together. I don't want to get too into detail about what's going into her bag, because, you know, I want her to be surprised. But I've got pictures of it all. I'm putting it in the mail today. This week has gotten away from me. We don't even need to talk about it. But I will talk about what I included in her swap package next week when she gets it. Because again, I don't want to spoil any surprises. She knows, like, broadly what's going into it. So while I was putting that together, I decided to make her a project bag as well. She said she didn't have any and she doesn't really sew or anything like that, so I thought I would make her one. And while I was making one for her, I made another new one, and this may also end up getting gifted. But yeah, made another one of these. So it's got this cool, I don't know if you can see that, but the gold triangles on here are actually metallic, and then I've got metallic gold triangles in the lining. It's got this purple zipper, nice wrist strap, and it will stand up on its own. I did the boxed corners and all that good stuff. The 2 that I made this week, I think, are my best ones so far. So I'm definitely improving, which is good. That's exciting for me. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm pleased with the way this one turned out. I'm really pleased with the way hers turned out. Hers turned out even better, which is why that's the one that I put in her package. Yeah, but I may end up actually gifting this to my knitting friend, Kelly, who I knit with on Wednesday nights. And apparently on Saturdays and Tuesdays and all of the days. We've been knitting a lot together recently, which is funny because I'm very much a solitary knitter, but it's fun having somebody to knit with and having somebody to teach, which is really cool. I've been really enjoying it. But anyway, that's going in the mail. This is probably getting gifted tonight. Yay for project bags. What else? Yeah, other than that, I've been doing some dream knitting, to steal a phrase from Maria of Stitched in Sweden, where because I've been knitting so monogamously on this, I haven't let myself cast on, which I've already complained to you about. But there's so many things that I want to cast on right now, and I may cast on later this week, depending. I might actually talk to you guys about this because I need some advice. There are 2 shawls that I desperately want to cast on right now because I want to take a break from jumping into another shawl design. Just kind of like as a palette cleanser, knit up somebody else's design. So the 2 that I'm going back and forth on, and I think I've already talked about these a little bit, are the Solaris shawl by Melanie Berg and the Waiting for Rain shawl by Sylvia Bilvia. That's it, Bilvia. I'm obsessed with both of these patterns. I desperately want to make both of them, and I'm going to make both of them. Like, there's no question about that. Yeah, no, it's happening. I will be making these. I currently already have the yarn all picked out in my stash, like sitting very close to me, ready to go for the Solaris shawl. But Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast, Full and Vine Yarns, I got it right this week, guys. Very proud of myself. I would be lying if I said I didn't practice that. She's doing a knit along for the Waiting for Rain shawl that started yesterday, March 1st. It's going for just the month of March. And considering I don't want to end up in, like, I want to knit this shawl. I want to take part in the knit along because knit alongs are fun. And I don't want to end up in the same sort of sprint at the very end like I did with the Atwood shawl. Like, I really should cast it on this weekend if I'm going to knit it, right? So, what is the problem, you ask? Well, both of these call for large quantities of yarn. I think they both call for upwards of 700 yards of fingering weight yarn. I think the Solaris may be even more than that, actually. But I have this beautiful gray yarn set aside for the Solaris shawl, right? Which I didn't pull out to show you, but it's that Frabjous Fibers Cheshire Cat fingering weight that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago, and I think last time too, maybe. I've got 2 big skeins of that, and that's about 1,000 yards there. Perfect. It's basically exactly what I need for the Solaris. I could use that for the Waiting for Rain shawl instead and cast that on now, but then I wouldn't have that for the Solaris shawl, and I grabbed the last skein of that color from one of the, that basically is in town right now. I don't know. I can't get my hands on more of that quickly and easily to replace for the Solaris shawl. But yeah, so the other part of this issue is that I'm doing my best not to buy any yarn right now, which is difficult. But like I said, I've got this yarn sitting in my living room in this this footstool from Target that has storage inside of it. I keep my stash divided up in a couple different places around our house. Got most of it lives in our guest room, in a closet in our guest room. I've got like 2 sweater quantities of like worsted weight and DK there. and then some odds and ends and things that are either attached to UFOs. We've all got them, let's be honest. Or it's already set aside for specific projects, like some color work stuff, Christmas stockings, things like that. So that all has very specific purposes. Then my recent stuff and most of my fingering weight that's not scraps is sitting in this footstool. And unfortunately, the footstool has gotten to the point where it doesn't really want to close without some effort. Yeah, I need to knit through what I have. I really do. That is why I purchased this yarn. It needs to be knit. But it's just not enough in any specific... These are not real problems. This is not an actual human problem. But it feels like a real problem. What am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast on the Waiting for Rain shawl using the Frabjous Fibers, that gray Cheshire Cat yarn. It'll be beautiful. It'll be great in gray. And then I'll just figure something else out for the Solaris later on. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me figure that out right now. There you go. This is we've all been here, right? This is you understand this process. I'm not the only person who struggles. I love this mug. Calming tea. Calming me after that ridiculous non-problem. Other than that, what do I have to talk to you guys about? I went a little crazy on Amazon. I got so many. Guys, they're so good. I don't know if you can hear me whisper. I actually have no idea if you guys can hear that. I've been having some issues with this microphone. But anyway, I got 2 of these, right? These are both by Barbara Walker, right? This is the first one, A Treasury of Knitting Patterns. And then the second one, which is a second treasury of knitting patterns. There's also a third and a fourth. These are phenomenal. This first one has over, okay, if you can see that, over 500 different stitches. This one has 700. What? So excited. My only slight quibble with this is that it's not charted. It can't be perfect. I very much prefer knitting off of charts, but I want to say these are from like the 60s and maybe that wasn't a thing then. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. Who knows? But, right, they've got really nice clear black and white photos and then it's all written out. And just so many ideas. Yeah, so many ideas. And like one of the things I really enjoy about this is that it gives you, trying to find a good picture, like a good example. Yeah, here's a good example. Don't want to bump my microphone. If you can see in that image there, in the same picture they show you the version where it's knit and the version where it's done with pearls. What? That's awesome. I love that. It's like I am somebody who likes to mess with things and I want to know what the front and the back look like, all that kind of good stuff. And so they do a really good job of including that. So I am definitely going to be using these very much. Hey, how cool are some of these things? What is that? I don't know what I would ever use that for, but it's really cool looking. Yeah. This just showed up this morning too, so sorry if I'm a little overly enthusiastic about it, but yeah. This is, yeah, it's just really cool stuff. So there's those 2. And then, because the 1200, is that right? Yes, my math is right on that. Different stitches included in those 2, yeah, treasuries, really. I also got this one, 750 knitting stitches. I like this. It's a knit stitch Bible. This one is by, come on, Does it not have a name? Must be a collaboration of multiple people then. Yeah. This one is great too. Still no charts, but that's fine. But this one is color photos. It's all sorts of good stuff. I can't wait. There's some good color work stuff, which is at least charted there. That's nice. I mean, it kind of has to be for color work, right? Similar to what I've got in other dictionaries, but yeah, this is really cool. I am excited. So yeah, expect to see stuff from any of these books showing up in future designs. I'm very excited. What else? Couple other things. So I mentioned that Nicole of Hilo Go gave me a really sweet shout out. My hair is insane. This last week on her latest episode, she's been showing off the sample knits she's gotten for her trunk shows. And so she talked about the 6-sack hat that I would knit up for her. It was that colorwork hat I knit up that's gray and mint colored. I think she calls her colorways Mint and Coltrane. It was out of DK weight, super squishy and nice. Loved it. So yeah, so she showed that off, and as part of her thank you for doing the the sample knitting for her, she she gave all of us a gift certificate to her store, which is awesome. Love her yarn, so all about that. And so I went ahead and basically immediately ordered some yarn from her, and then she included a couple little extras, so love her. Like I said, loved that super squishy Bokeh DK of hers. I told you guys before that I was going to order up some more, and I did. This is, yeah, the Bokeh DK. It is 100% superwash merino wool. It's obviously a single ply. There's 240 yards per 100 grams. And this colorway is called Firestorm, which I think is one of her more recent ones. So as you can see, it is gray and orange. There's some dark browns in there as well. There's some speckling going on, some really dark grays and light grays. I'm so excited. I haven't picked out a pattern for this yet. This may, unfortunately, live in my stash for a little while. But it's so soft and squishy. I can't wait to knit with it. It's going to be so good. But yeah, very excited about this. So this is what I picked up for myself. And then, the sweetest, she included a little a project bag for me. So it's out of that really cool, I don't even know, I can't remember how she was describing it. It's a really pretty multicolor fabric. It's kind of like a, I don't know, it reminds me of the Southwest. I don't want to say like Aztec. I don't want to like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. It definitely has like a very Southwestern feel to it though. And it's got this awesomely bright polka dot lining. It's gonna be great. Really good size bag too. Could probably fit a shawl project in this. So yeah. And then a fun little mini. So many minis. I'm just gonna like curl this up so you can see it all together. And hope that the colors show up correctly. Yeah. This is, yeah, that's not showing up right. That looks bluer than it is in real life. I think it might be her purple pupil eater colorway, but I could be making that up. I don't remember. Or it could have just been a mini from one of her tests or something like that. But yeah, it's really cool. Very excited to get this in the mail. So thank you, Nicole. That was really incredibly sweet. You spoil me. Seriously. And then, package that I ordered probably 2 weeks ago now, which came. Took a little extra time because it was coming from the UK. A couple weeks ago, I jumped on an update from Deb of Fondant Fibers, which I still haven't gotten through that first braid that I'm spinning up. But this is kind of inspiring me to hurry up with that so I can get to this. First, oh, I can't even believe this. It's so pretty. This is part of her Loom collection. And colorway is called Awakened Spirit, and it is a merino Polwarth and mulberry silk blend. It's 100 grams. It's so pretty. It's so pretty and so soft. Huh. I don't know. I may just keep it as is for a little while because it's just, I don't know. I'm a little intimidated by how pretty it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm afraid I'm gonna spin it up and like screw it up because I don't know what I'm doing. But I do. I kind of know what I'm doing, right? I've tried and read things. I can handle it. It'll be great. I may practice, however, before I get to that. Sorry for the crinkling. On this bag of fuzzlings that I got. So much to send. I apologize for all of the reflections on that bag. But there's just so much good stuff in here. Yeah. I don't even know. I'm gonna have so much fun playing with this. Like, I look at it and I'm excited. I can't wait. Ooh, there's like some sparkly stuff in there. I don't even know. This is so, yeah, I'm excited. That's gonna become something. Who knows what? Something fun. And then she also included a couple little toonies. I think that's what I put in toast. The colorway, right? Super pretty. Those will turn into something fun. And then also, oh no, where did it go, little friend? I just had it. She sent a little, yeah, there it is. A little thank you card with it, including a little stitch marker. It says, I love knitting, and I do. It's so true. How did she know? Yeah. And that's backwards. Guys. Clearly, I need this calming tea to kick in so I can not be so spastic. It's gonna be a long day if I can't calm down. There we go. I love knitting. So yes, thank you, Deb. This stuff is phenomenal and I cannot wait to spin it up. It's gonna be great. Cool. So yes, I'm just about done. But again, real quick, I wanted to thank everybody who's reached out over the last week. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, the knitting community is just so amazing. Other podcasters, all the viewers, everybody who's talking on Ravelry and Instagram, you guys are amazing. And just, I mean, I don't know. You guys just make me so happy. I really, really can't even begin to describe how much I appreciate you. Yeah. In terms of other podcasts and things like that, the only new podcast I've been watching this week is the Charlotte and Gus podcast, or I think it's Charlotte and Gus Knitting, I want to say is the name of it, with B. Charlie. That's her name on Ravelry and Instagram. And she is adorable. She is, I want to say, like in her early 20s, and she lives in Paris, and she podcasts in English, which is kind of cool. So apparently she's always knit in English, and so even though she's French, she's podcasting in English because she doesn't know the vocab for knitting in French, which, I don't know, I appreciate that as a fun fact to know. But yeah, she's got great taste and super, really great taste. She's been designing some stuff for herself and just is absolutely fearless with her knitting, which I can so appreciate since I have not always been. But yeah, so definitely go check out her podcast. Yeah, I feel like everybody else I've been enjoying this week, y'all already know about. I've already talked about several times. Actually, no, I don't think I've ever mentioned Legacy Knits with um, Chelsea and Sue, who are phenomenal. They're so cute. They're so sweet, so funny, and really, really make me wish that my mom knit. My mom is not a knitter. My mom is not patient. She does not do well sitting and actually doing something. Um, Mom has amazing qualities of her own, but patience is not one of them. So no knitting from mom, but I don't know. I kind of like to watch them and pretend maybe that would be what my mom and I would be like. They're great. So yeah, I think everybody's been talking about how amazing they are, and they really are. So definitely, if you haven't checked out Legacy Knits, I'll be linking to both of them and Charlotte and Gus in the Ravelry show notes. Go check them out. They are fantastic. One other thing. I got a comment. From I think it was Jeanette. I think it was on YouTube this week. Oh, I wish I had noted exactly all these details in my notes. That's what they're for. Really sweet comment, asking kind of why I haven't actually spoken any French on the podcast since my first episode. It's a valid question, especially given the name of my podcast. I go back and forth with how much French to include, both like in this and also in my daily life. I have a thing about not appearing to be more pretentious than I actually am. I have a very dangerous tendency to accidentally, maybe not so accidentally, come off as pretentious. I really don't want that to happen. So one of the ways I've gone about trying to avoid that is just to not include French in my English, right? But, you know, there is a large French-speaking knitting community. I should probably, I don't know, take part in that. But, but yeah, so with that in mind, if you don't speak French, you can go ahead and just turn this off now. I'm just going to speak a little bit of French for a minute, talk to any francophone viewers real quick. Yeah, thank you for watching if you are an anglophone and don't want to hear French. And I will see you next week. Alors, pour tous ceux qui parlent français, voilà, coucou, bonjour. Quand même, une seconde. Rebonjour, j'ai voulu juste faire un petit message à tous mes followers francophones pour vous dire merci et aussi bonjour. Ça fait vraiment plaisir de savoir que j'ai des followers francophones. Franchement, faire des vidéos en français, des petits messages même en français, ça fait un peu peur parce que vraiment, j'ai peur de faire des bêtises en français. Faire des bêtises en anglais, c'est normal. J'en fais pas mal. Comme vous savez déjà. Mais je sais pas. De faire des bêtises linguistiques en français, ouf, ça me gêne. Et quand même, je sais que j'en fais. Quand même. Dans la vie, de temps en temps, il faut faire des choses qui font peur. Donc, j'en fais. Je vais faire ce message, mais aussi, je veux faire encore plus de vidéos en français aussi. Donc, si cela vous intéresse, ou si ça vous dit quelque chose, envoyez-moi un petit message sur Ravelry dans les show notes. Donc voilà. Comment dit-on show notes en français? Je n'ai aucune idée. Mais voilà. Sur Ravelry, comme vous savez, il y a le groupe. Voilà. Quand même. Je dis quand même trop. Ouais. Comme vidéo, je pense que je vais faire... Comme je viens de dire la semaine dernière, je viens de recevoir ce petit machin, ce petit caméra. Et je veux faire des tutos de tricot. C'est une vraie langue ça. Un tuto de tricot. Mais quand même. Je vais en faire en anglais avec mon petit caméra ici. Mais si vous voulez des tutos de tricot en français aussi, encore dis-le moi, je vais en faire. Euh, je sais pas quoi d'autre. Je crois que c'est tout. Oui, je vais arrêter ici. Donc encore une fois, merci et à la semaine prochaine.